As we continue with our top five teams in the West, we have team number five, the Dallas Mavericks at 21-16, 7-3 in their last 10. And this is basically the Luka show. Luka has been phenomenal this season, being an all-star MVP candidate, probably the front runner for some. Been dragging this team so far this season to get wins and big time play and big time performances. Just dropped 51, I believe, against the Spurs last night. Had a 60, 20, and 10 game against the Knicks. Triple double, first time that number has been registered in NBA history. This guy is phenomenal. I think he already has these. I think he might be close to passing Dirk on the 40-point games list for the Dallas Mavericks as well. He has been phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. There's nothing else to say about that guy besides he's phenomenal. Playing at a high level with Jason Kidd as the coach, this team has been trying to figure it out, trying to piece it together around Luka. They've been tinkering, trying to find players to play with him, bringing in Christian Wood in the offseason. Seeing what other pieces can fit, seeing if their guys can stay healthy in terms of like Hardaway Jr. and Spencer Dinwiddie. Dallas has been the main thing with Dallas. Hey, get Luka some help. That's the main thing that we see night to night on a nightly basis, is that it's very Luka centric. But let's get into this team here. They're 112.2 points per game, 19th in the league. And you think that a Luka team would get more possessions, more threes, especially with Luka Doncic at the helm, more points. But in terms of how they play, I'll get into that. 115.3 offensive rating. They're 8th in the league, 110 points per game opponents-wise, 5th in the league in defense. And I still don't understand how they are doing this. The Dallas Mavericks are the biggest conundrum to me in the league. And I think I finally figured it out, similar to a team in the East, how they are doing this defensively. But looking at their stats here, let's get to Luka Doncic, 33.7 points per game, 8.9 assists per game, and 8.8 rebounds per game. He's that close to a triple-double, ladies and gentlemen, on the season averaging. He's playing phenomenal, controlling every point of each game with his handle, able to get inside and get to the basket, his step backs, his spacing. He's able to find guys in kind of like the anywhere, no look passes, bounce passes, throwing it somewhere where only his guy can get it like a quarterback. He's really managing this team top to bottom, and I really don't see that changing right now for the near future. But Luka Doncic is phenomenal. I call him James Harden 2.0 and how he plays. Very similar to James Harden. People say they don't see it, and I'm like, this guy uses his body to get to the basket, uses his shoulders, uses his arms, puts his head down and able to get to the basket. He's very crafty with his dribble. Crossovers, step backs, especially with the step backs, remind me of James Harden. He's able to knock it down and step back and get that down when he's in streak mode. Basically, backing up him is Christian Wood, who they've been bringing off the bench at 17.5 points per game, 8 rebounds a game. And this is a guy I thought that should have started just to give them some type of offensive flexibility. You can run plays through Christian Wood and get him going, which they have been doing on the season. They just haven't really started him. He started a couple games, I believe. But in terms of what this team needs, I think they needed another offensive guy for Luka to play with, and they've been doing that in and out so far this season. Backing up him is Spencer Dinwiddie with 16.4 points per game, 5.2 assists per game. Just want him to stay healthy and be able to contribute a little bit more on the defensive end. He's able to create and shoot and knock down shots for next to Luka Doncic, so that's been favorable for them. In that guard system, they're really missing a guy like Jalen Brunson who can break guys off the dribble outside of Luka. But hey, Tim Hardaway Jr., who's having 13.6 points per game on the season, shooting the ball really well. Hopefully he can stay healthy and continue that consistency for the Mavericks so far. But these guys, Luka is the controller. He's the operator. He's the conductor of this offense. He's going to find a way to make it work, as he has been heroic all season, bringing in comebacks against, I believe, the Knicks the other night, finding ways to win against San Antonio, the Rockets. He's just doing it all so far this season. As we get into the rest of their team, Dorian Finney-Smith is able to provide some type of shooting and be able to play some defense that really helps the team overall. Josh Green, the young guy who's been able to knock down some shots for them as well. But Dallas simply is just get this guy some help. Get Luka some help. He needs somebody to help. I suggested earlier on the post, hey, he should be they should target Pascal Siakam. I don't know if they can figure that out. Get some expiring deals there to Toronto and picks. I know some of their picks are hunkered up in the big deal for Porzingis that happened a couple of years ago, but they have to find a way to improve this team and build around Luka and have somebody that's dynamic around him. And I suggested Pascal Siakam because I think that expiring contracts and picks should get that done. I don't know what direction they're going there in Toronto unless they get a playmaker on that side to help. I don't see them improving very much. But in terms of what a team needs, in terms of a guy who can go get buckets, play stellar defense, and he's already been playing center. Already been playing center already for the season. So it's like that's a perfect fit in Dallas next to Luka, a guy who can pick and pop, pick and roll, create his own shot, and actually run the offense through him, and is capable of getting 25 points a game. So we've seen that from a Pascal Siakam that can additionally help Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks. Moving on to one of the reasons why I think their defense has been so good is because they're 29th in pace. They're basically a plodding team with Luka conserving energy, basically having everything run through him basically either create a double or create a shot and find something there to go with it. They're third in 3-point shots made with 15 a game, and that's what we see with Luka getting double and triple teamed and closed in on defensive when he's attacking the basket. Finding guys like Spencer Dinwiddie, finding guys like Tim Hardaway Jr., Josh Green, finding other guys to knock it down, Christian Wood even, Maxi Kleber, all these other guys, finding guys to score the basketball and be efficient. Luka Doncic, again, I just think they need to add something to help him. He is out there basically playing at a high level, but we've seen this movie with James Harden. James Harden in Houston constantly put up big numbers in the regular season, then got to the playoffs and was dead tired, didn't have a leg to stand on. I don't want that to be the case with Luka Doncic because I feel like he's a little bit more dynamic, a little bit better playmaker. But I think that they need to figure out a way to get him some help. I think that's the most important thing right now. We saw the last Dirk years where they were bringing in nobodies and past stars and stuff like that. And it's like, don't do that to Luka Doncic. And I compare this to the 08 Cleveland season with LeBron James, where he's going to put up fantastical numbers and they're going to be barely over 500 and potentially could lose in the first round depending on what their matchups are and whatever the case may be. But I don't want to see Luka early in his career go through a Dirk phase where Dirk basically had nobody his last years in Dallas in trying to make it work in Dallas and stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure Dirk was content with what was happening. He got a championship. He did everything he could. But looking at Luka, there's so much potential, and people have already rumblings that he's going to leave and stuff like that, and et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, I don't know. I'm not an insider in terms of what the Mavericks are doing, but I think if they're able to get him some help, I think that's going to be a really big factor for them moving forward in terms of what they're doing. Yeah, I don't know if it's in the offseason, maybe more deals are on the table that they can make and feel more comfortable making, but at some point they're going to have to get Luka some help. It's been year in, year out of him not having too much help, and he's been on his own, really. So we got to I don't got to figure out, but the Mavericks have to figure out a way to improve the team and basically give Luka some help. Basically, that he's in dire straits of that. Despite all these performances, I think he's going to tire out at some point, have a slump probably during the regular season at some point. But overall, most likely, they need to add somebody that can help him going forward, or he's going to leave. Plain and simple. I think that he could leave. I think he's going to want to leave or put pressure on the organization to get him some help because he definitely needs some help. He needs more shooting around him. He needs a little bit more defense around him. They need to play a little bit faster, whoever he's playing with. And I think that's going to come with more talent around him. But right now, they're just trying to win as many games as they can, possibly before the next downfall of the Mavericks happen. I think they need to continue to build around him and keep him going and make sure Luka's fresh for the playoffs. He needs a running buddy. That's basically what he needs. Jalen Brunson left. There's really been nobody there to replace it. He has good role players around him like Spencer Dinwiddie and Dorian Finney-Smith, Christian Wood, who I think they should start. But they need somebody that can take the pressure off Luka night to night. Either that's a ball handler or a guy that you can run the offense through and get easy baskets from. I think that's the best way for them. But we'll see what Dallas does in the second quarter here, if they can continue this pace and continue to move up in the ranks in the Western Conference.